Everybody? Hi, welcome. I'm George Mossey. It's the George Mossey Show. We're going to be talking about episode 14 before the 90 days. Before we jump in tomorrow to the last resort and then the after show called Between the Sheets. So we're going to be doing that tomorrow. I don't know. A lot of people are saying they don't want to watch the Between the Sheets after show, but I'm going to give it a try. Kara's here, so we're going to get here. Judy is here. Laura is here. Laura is here. Judy's here. Hi, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hey, Jay Queasy. Hey, Cara. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So Tiger Lily was back. This was episode 14 before the 90 days. She was back after a 2-week absence, which I think the consensus was we didn't miss her, right?
Yeah.
We didn't miss
so much.
We didn't miss her at all, but she was back. We're going to get into that later. But I want to talk about this situation with Faith and hey, Jal, Buckshot Jal. Hey, Laura. So I want to get into the situation with Faith because Faith and Lauren went from friends to boyfriend and girlfriend to kind of looks like broken up all in this episode. So I wanted to kind of break down kind of what went down because things were looking well when they got back to Manila and she took Lauren to meet her friends. Hi, Pineapple. And that went well other than her friends hated him. But again, you and I have had this conversation. When you tell your friends, especially her best friend Lynn, all of the negative things going on in your relationship, when you bring the person around and you decided to forgive them, they didn't forgive them. So it was common to me that they didn't want Lauren around because they know all of the negative things, right? When you tell your best friend what's going on in your relationship, it's rarely when the person is doing something good because when things are happy, we don't need to text anyone to vent.
Yep.
But she's been telling him, oh, he cheated on me. He has gonorrhea. You know, like the friends know too much. And I think that that's the main issue with, especially with women when it comes to their close friends, they tell too much. Because, you know, you can get over some stuff. Like she was trying to get over the fact that Lauren was cheating on her before he came to visit. She was trying to get over it. But now that her friends are there and instigating the situation, I don't think they can because Lynn is under the impression that Lauren was flirting with one of the drag queens. Literally while Faith was feet away, like not even 20 feet away. Do you really believe that Lauren was flirting with a drag queen 20 feet away from Faith?
As much as it pains me to defend Lauren, like from the pit of my soul, it pains me. That's actually what he does for a job. So, of course he's going to pay attention. I don't care what profession you're in. If you go to some place that is the same profession that you're in, whether he's professional or not, you still check out the surroundings, you check out the people, you check out the products, you check out the equipment, you check out everything. So for him to have a conversation with someone that worked there, happened to be a drag queen in this situation, is just a little, I don't think it was flirting as much as I don't even want to say that. I just don't think so.
Well, I think that Lauren is the type of person that I don't want to say flirts with everybody, but you know how there's overly friendly people? I feel like Lauren is overly friendly, and I feel like from the outside it could appear to be flirting, but I don't think that he would, knowing that her friends are there, knowing that she's feet away, I don't think that he's that stupid. I've been wrong before.
I mean,
okay, I'm wrong.
Stupid, but I don't think he's that stupid.
Well, right. I think that all the work that he's put in, all $46 that he spent since he's been there, and working towards right, like why would he go and screw it up so quickly after that?
Yeah.
Because we know his plan is to move to the Philippines and never pay child support again. We know what he's trying to do. Why would you screw it up the
also,
second?
He also thinks he's getting laid tonight, so he's not going to screw that up.
Well, that as well. So yeah, so he's got a clean bill of health from the doctor. He's gonorrhea free. And, you know, him and Faith were definitely happy about that. And now he's ruined that situation. They had their first kiss, by the way, at the club.
I know.
Which
I threw up in my mouth a little.
Which a lot of people were like, oh, God, now she has thrush. We don't know that, guys. We don't know that. Hopefully she's okay. But, yeah, luckily it's probably going to end at a kiss, which is good. Right? Wait, Lauren was just being Lauren. He is friendly no matter what. Judy, see, I agree with you. I think Lauren is the type of person you would invite to a party and people would run away and hide because
Yeah.
he's just an overly friendly person who will just talk to everybody, and to the point where you would hide from him.
He's
I don't think that
obnoxious.
Right. I don't think he was shopping for a hookup with his girlfriend and her best friend who hates him within a feet away. I just don't believe that. And I think when you bring your friends around someone that they hate, they're automatically looking for other
Yeah.
reasons to hate him. So I felt like she saw him talking to someone and was like, "Oh, I don't like that, and I don't like him. So I'm gonna make a
Yep.
thing." And I think that's exactly what happened.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. As much as I can't stand him, and I think he's just ick. I just don't think that he's that stupid. I think the friend totally made it up, and I'm sad for Faith because in the end, it's her feelings that are hurt.
Yeah, I think that Faith, she had too much faith. I don't want to
Yeah.
sound corny, but she had too much faith in him. She gave him a second chance he didn't deserve. And unfortunately, her friend is full of crap, but her friend is actually saving her from a bigger headache down
Yeah.
the line. It's probably best that she sends him back. It's only going to be after the night of this fight, he had 3 more days left. And
Yeah.
she says she didn't even want to talk to him anymore, which is probably good. Send him on his way. It'll make things easier. I don't think that it was ever going to work out. I mean, how is it going to work out? Because we had talked about this before. Since she's a ladyboy, they can't get married legally.
Yes.
But again, we have to remember Lauren isn't looking to do anything really legally.
No.
Right? So that wasn't
Not
ever really an issue. He said on the podcast he was on with me, he was going to live in somebody's shed and work on a farm and just overstay his visa. Like, just never, hi Aline, never actually check in with the country and say, hey, I'm here. He was just going to be there because he was like, if no one knows I'm here, I don't have to pay child support. So that was his goal. Yeah. And if you think about it, Faith lives and works at a hotel, and the hotel is in Faith's name. So technically, even if people were looking for him, his name wouldn't come up.
Yep.
Right? They couldn't even call the hotel.
It's disgusting. Like,
well, usually when people commit fraud, they don't go on TV and talk about how they're going to commit fraud, right?
Exactly. So, I mean, here's your sign.
Well, speaking of signs, so there's another thing that happened tonight that was huge. So Niles decided that he wants to go through with the marriage on this trip after he went through so much to cancel this wedding. How do you feel?
I'm so sad. I'm sad. Well, number one, because I was wrong. And I said he would not marry her on this trip.
It's okay. I've been wrong too. We come back from it. It's fine.
But number two, I was not wrong about her. She's still a gold digger. She's still just trying to get to the United States. And there's a piece of me that has a feeling the wedding's not going to happen.
Well, towards the end of the episode, we found out he lost his job and he only has $109. Oh, so we skipped the bride price conversation. So the bride price was negotiated by Mr. Ark, who is standing in as his family. And they negotiated the bride price to $395, which I thought was really good, right? Again, I want to first say I don't condone buying and selling people, and I never have, and I never will. Yeah. But I do think in his situation, this worked out really well because they could have asked for $5,000 or $6,000. Like you can ask whatever you want, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He has no negotiation skills. There's no way that he could have done this on his own. So I think that Mr. Ark did a good job with the negotiation. And again, I don't want to devalue Matilda. She's not worth money at all. She's a human being. She's worth everything. So, but in this situation, I think that this would have worked out for him financially if he would have told everyone that he didn't have a job. And we didn't even know. He didn't even tell the producers. Like, he didn't really reveal it. So I found out with everyone else, with you. So he's unemployed, has no other way to make money. He has $109 left to his name. And now I'm really worried because what's going to happen when he gets back home?
Yeah.
Where's he going to live? How's he going to eat? And I feel like he said, he put all of his eggs in the basket of going on this trip and doing all of this for her. Who's taking care of him?
TLC.
What's going to see? Well, I hope they better. Yeah. They better take care of him because now I'm worried. And I think he's in over his head. When he gets back to the U.S., this is only half the battle. The $395 for the wedding is nothing compared to what he has to pay to get her over here.
Yep.
How is that going to happen?
That's never going to work. You have to have money in the bank and proof of steady income. If you don't have a job, you don't have proof of steady income unless you can get a co-sponsor, and his parents aren't on board.
No.
So I don't think he's going to get her here anyway, even if he did marry her. But
Well,
there's just that piece of me that feels like he's going to back out.
well, he said the only other option was to ask Mr. Ark for the money, which I think is crazy. You know, I
Also,
get
I'm
that.
worried about Mr. Ark. Am I the only one that thinks he has jaundice?
Wait, you think he has jaundice? What's jaundice? Isn't that like
It's
a skin pigment
liver
thing?
failure. It's liver failure. All
Oh,
of his eyes are yellow. Like, he needs medical attention now.
really? See, I don't know. I didn't know. I don't know anything about it. Now I'm worried.
My stepdad died from it.
Really?
And
You said
that's
it
all
has to do with the color of your eyes?
yeah, the whites of your eyes turn yellow. Look at his eyes. Go back and watch and look at his eyes.
Now,
This guy is so jaundiced, it's not even funny.
and it's probably not treated, right? And that's even
Oh, I'm
worse.
sure.
Oh
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
God.
He's probably,
See, now I'm worried.
I hate to say it, he's probably dead now because it's been a year.
For real. Like it's that fast?
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy crap. I hope he's okay. So that now I'm nervous for that. I don't want anyone to pass.
I couldn't even focus on anything else when he was on the screen. I was just like, holy crap.
So when you have that, does it not have any other symptoms? Like how would you know you have it?
I mean, you would know because you would go to the doctor the first time you have all kinds of stomach problems.
Oh, okay. So
I mean, we would know because we would go to the doctor. I don't think
right.
it's as
Over there, you might not go. So yeah, that's even more scary. It's not Pineapple. Yes, Niles is on Instagram. It's Niles Valentine. He's on Instagram. So you know what? I'm gonna follow and I'm gonna DM and follow up and ask him if he has any updates with Mr. Ark, if he's okay, if he's healthy.
Please do.
If we can. Because now I'm worried. I want to make sure he's okay because not only do we need him to pay the other part of the bride price, but we need him to be alive. And, you know, we want him to live. So
I'm
definitely
very concerned about it, honestly.
we want to check into that. But Niall said that he could call his parents, but they wouldn't help him. And that statement really hurt me because I hate to see when, especially someone like Niles who has autism, who could always use support. Like I know he's independent, but it's good to have a support system, and it hurts to know that his parents don't support him no matter what. Because you know we've had this conversation about parenting, and it's supposed to be unconditional support and love, and it's so not true with so many different families. Parents will love you conditionally, and I had it growing up too. My mom loved us as long as we were in the cult she liked, and we made the right grades, and we did the right thing, and we whatever she wanted us to do, we did. We were loved unconditionally. But if we did anything against those rules, it's true, we were not loved. So I hate to see that, especially someone like him, because he's out here making life-changing decisions and doesn't even have his mom and dad to talk it through.
Yep.
I can't even imagine.
I said it from the beginning. We need to put this guy in bubble wrap.
I'm scared. He's over there making decisions that he needs to run by people. Right? Like if I was going to consider getting married, my mother would be on the phone with me for hours and hours and hours, and we would just be talking it through because that's just how I was raised. I don't make serious decisions without us having a conversation. Right. She's not going to tell me not to do it, but she's going to give me a good reason on both sides. Yeah. And I think that's what we need. We need that support. Absolutely. Right? So I'm worried about him. He's all the way in another country all alone, no money, and nobody to help him make these decisions. And these are decisions that you can't go back on. These are life-changing decisions. So, hey, Jamie.
It's also kind of funny how he can just be in Ghana and go to an ATM with his American credit card and just pull money out.
But Josh couldn't do that. Remember in China? Yeah. That was literally the first thing I thought of. He literally pulled out cash. Well, what did he call it? CDs of whatever their money is. He pulled out the ATM, but Josh couldn't do that in China, which is weird because China's way more advanced.
And especially,
you know, like
as Josh called his financial institutions, told him he's moving the whole 9 yards. So he should have had cards for China.
Right. It makes you wonder, right? All of that makes you wonder. So, okay, so I put out a poll on Twitter, and it said, so What do you think about Matilda? Do you think she's taking advantage of an autistic man to get a big party and ceremony? Okay, so we got 48% said, here, can you see it? She's scamming him.
Yep.
And then we got 52% that said, nah, she just wants a big Americanized party to show her people in her village and tribe that she's marrying a wealthy American man. And then
Yep.
and then no percent was who is Matilda. I always put that in there just in case people know what I'm talking about. So,
Right.
but a lot of people just think that it's about 50-50, almost 48-52. A lot of people think that she just wants to impress everyone with, marrying an American, because, this can be a big deal. And in their culture, you meet an American and they change your life and they change your family's life.
Yeah.
So maybe she wants to show everyone, like, look what I did. Look at the guy that I pulled. He's going to take me out of this, give me a different life, give my family a different life. But I think that also a lot of people were saying online, I want to get your opinion. They said that Niles doesn't know how to be honest. Now, do you think that we need to link his lack of honesty to his autism? Or do you think those are separate things? Because you know how Brian tries to make it seem like him being a liar also is linked to him being a quadriplegic, but they're not.
Well, he was a quadriplegic. He was a dick before he was a quadriplegic.
Yes.
So there's that. So as far as Niles goes, I think there may have been repercussions in the past of him telling the truth. And so, or not really, it's not that he's lying. It's just that he doesn't share the information. Kind of
Right.
like Brian and Ingrid.
Yeah.
It's her fault because she didn't ask. So I kind of feel like he's that kind of person where if you don't ask, then I didn't lie because I just didn't offer the information.
But do you think it's because he's autistic, confrontation is like scary? Like for me,
Yeah. Yes.
I can't swim. So if somebody was to ask me to go on a boat in the ocean, that's like, I won't do it. It's like a huge trigger for me. Do you think him being autistic and confrontation is a big trigger and that's
Yes.
why he's dishonest? Because it doesn't seem like he is a person that wants to lie to people. Like Brian kind of looks like he's lying to people because he wants them to believe what he's saying.
Absolutely.
I don't think that Niles goes out and creates false narratives. I think Niles is just afraid of what the truth is going to bring confrontation, and I think that's his worst nightmare. But
absolutely.
I think that in the end, the truth always comes out.
Yeah.
So you might as well handle that confrontation head on now, then it blindsides you later. Because usually,
I think he's learning that the very hard way.
Yeah, it's a very hard lesson. See, this is where his parents should be there to help support him through that, because I learned the hard way. But my mom also told me, she's like, yeah, you don't have to tell people everything now, but just remember, one day you might wake up and she looked in your phone and now she knows, and now that confrontation is going to blindside you. You might not be ready. At least if you're honest with people, you could prepare yourself and tell them everything up front and give them that opportunity. She's like, or you just wake up one day and all of a sudden confrontation and the truth slaps the hell out of you, and then you have to deal with it, and now you're getting assaulted by it, so it's up to you.
Maybe he's living by the motto that it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
A lot of people do. People do. See, in my opinion, I think it's easier to be honest, because when you ask for forgiveness, you also are asking for someone to renew their trust in you, and those things are not linked. So they can forgive you, but they may never trust you again. And I think that's a bigger risk.
People get in the mindset that if I just do this, then they can't stop me. So once it's done, I can ask them to forgive me. So if you want to go buy a new car and not say anything to anybody, but you need permission to do it, and you just go buy the new car and then you come back, what are they going to do? Take the car from you? No, because it's in your name. You know what I mean?
Right. So, it's just, I guess it's, you pick your poison. You pick your battles.
Kind of like not telling his parents, because his parents don't approve of the relationship. So he's just going to marry her. Then when he goes back, you can either forgive me and accept it, or oh well.
Well, right. Because if, you know what, you're right. Because if he would have called his parents and told them what he was doing, they would tell him not to do it. Yep. And a lot of people look at it as, I'd rather do it and then ask you to forgive me afterward than to have you tell me not to do it and then not forgive me too. Right? Like, say, well, I told you not to and you didn't listen to me, and that type of thing. It's just, I'm worried about him the most this season, because I just feel like there's so many bad people out there and he could be a target.
Oh,
right? Like, I just feel like everybody there is looking out for themselves, and I'm like, who's looking out for Niles?
Yeah.
And
Nobody.
I worry about him. Matilda knows what she wants. She wants to marry an American and move to the U.S. She knows what she wants. That's fine. She's vocal about it. I get it. But I also worry about him. And I think that she thinks she's getting a wealthy American man, and meanwhile, he doesn't even have a job.
Yep.
You know, and I just feel like he's in over his head, and somebody needs to be there to help. Like, can we start a support group? Can we all just help?
I know.
Like, can we get a group chat with Niles? I'll help him. We can all help him get through this.
I know. It just breaks.
So Tiger Puff and Adnan are back, and we had almost an identical scene from, I know you know what I'm talking about, Nicole and
Mahmoud.
Nicole and Mahmoud. We had almost an identical scene, and it was about them going swimming. So they're she's back in Turkey, and they're trying to make a baby. And they go to the pool at the hotel, and she brings her different choices for swimming outfits, and obviously Adnan chooses the worst possible one for her liking. And then she's like, well, I didn't really know that when you said everything in my life was going to change if you marry me, that this is what you meant. And I was like, well, why don't you ask questions?
Exactly.
Is it me, or do people not ask questions anymore? Like, why can't
ridiculous.
I need clarification. And it's almost, I guess what really bothers me the most about her is she doesn't look for information on her own. She has to be told, because she's like, well, you didn't tell me and I didn't know. And I was like, well, sometimes you can find out information on your own. Yes, it's his job to help educate you on his expectations of you, but you can also be proactive. And you can also try to figure out things on your own. Find information about his religion. I looked it up. His religion is 1,400 years old. And,
oh, shit.
Right? 1,400 years old. So when she tries to tell him that she needs him to change his religion for her, I was like, that's like asking someone to change our constitution.
Yeah.
Because you don't like the way some of the constitution is written. So you're like, well, I don't like it, even though it's worked for the country for so many years, all these years, we've never had an issue. I woke up today and decided that the constitution isn't cool and I don't like it. So you need to change. That's basically what she's telling him to do, to change 1,400 years of history to better suit her needs. And I think that's what bothers me about her. And I mean, I get it. I don't agree with the way that women are forced to follow these rules. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's fair, but I also know that 1,400 years of history doesn't care how I feel.
Yep.
Right? This is how they've been doing it, and it's been working for them for this long, and they haven't changed it. So this is what they expect of you. And if you can't go through with what they expect of you, you have to walk away. Right? Like, I think it's crazy that she wants him to change his religion and his beliefs because it doesn't fit her lifestyle, when he's been that religion his whole life, you know. And I also feel like at her age she should know better.
Yes,
she should have more knowledge and information. So and it's like, I don't think Adnan's innocent, but I also don't blame a 22-year-old for not being able to properly address these concerns, because she's 43 years old. She should know better than this.
A 43-year-old of two.
Right. She should have some knowledge of the religion. She should have some knowledge of what is expected of her. And if you didn't, don't get me wrong, we don't know every religion and every practice. If you're going to marry somebody of a certain religion, just go on your phone, type in the religion, and just read. I'm not even saying dedicate your whole week, just a couple of hours, just to get an idea of what, because I remember I was in Michigan. I don't remember what I was in Michigan for, and we were at a grocery store, and I guess we were in a really high Muslim area. So there was a lot of women in this grocery store in full hijab, full covered. I could only see their eyes. Yeah. And this was like the first time that I had seen women fully. I had seen hijabs before, but I hadn't seen it to where I couldn't see their mouth, their nose. All I could see was literally this much. And crazy. They were all in this grocery store shopping, and it sparked my interest. So obviously I was like looking it up, and I was like, oh wow, they're the most strict version, you know, of this religion. Full burqa. Thank you, Diva. Full burqa. And that was the first time I saw it. So I was like, in my opinion, Tiger Lily's never been anywhere where she saw a woman wearing a hijab or a full burqa, never once in her life, and
right?
never thought, oh, why are they wearing that? Like, she's never encountered that in her life, because I've encountered it. I don't even know how many times I can count. I've seen people in full burqa and a hijab, wearing the full outfits. I've seen men and women. So it's just interesting to me that she pretends like she just woke up one day and the first Muslim she ever encountered in her whole life was Adnan, which I think is crazy. It's impossible.
But this is also the same woman that wakes up with her 22-year-old husband and says, "Do you want to see the choices that I brought for a bathing suit?" And he says, "Yeah."
Well,
And
because
she buys, these are her choices. She picked these, she bought these, she brought these. These are her choices. So she can't even be mad at him. A full leopard print scuba suit and a little black dress. Which one's going to be the better to swim in? Then
well, I think
needs the vitamin D on her skin, which is the sun, to go to that freaking indoor pool.
yeah, it was indoor. That was because she kept talking about tan lines.
Yeah.
And I was like, what tan lines are you going to get at the indoor pool? I mean, we didn't know that at the time, but I think that her scenes are fabricated. I don't believe that she's real. I said this before. I don't think that she's that dumb in real life. I think that she plays dumb. You know, like the Kardashian girls and the Jenners, and I think that they're very intelligent women, but they play that airhead act because it gets you on the housewives shows. It gets you people like that airhead act, and most of those housewives women aren't stupid either. They're very rich and they have businesses and they're doing things you wouldn't believe, but they want you to believe that they walk around with an empty head making stupid decisions. And I think Tiger Lily wants to portray that. I mean, it could be that she's 43 years old and literally learned nothing about life in those 43 years. It could possibly be. It's just really hard to believe.
I mean, it's hard to believe for sure, but so is her voice, so is her lips, so are her eyes, so is literally her name. And everything about this girl is hard to believe.
Yeah. I'm really, she's my least favorite this season.
Well, I don't know. I really, really dislike Lauren so much. And I really dislike Bozo.
Well, yes, I can't stand him, but the way he treated her. So Vanja was.
I really hate Brian, in case I didn't say it. I hate Brian.
Hate? Oh, wow.
Hate
I mean, I dislike him too.
Of my soul, I hate that man.
I want him to take some responsibility and accountability, but like I know that for some people that's not a thing. But I just like how everything is other people's issue. For the next season, can we bring back David and Sheila? Oh, the diva! I heard that there's an issue with the visa right now, and Sheila's not able to come back. Is what I heard last.
Oh,
so I have to. Yeah, so I have to hear more on that. Maybe they'll film it and cover it. But yeah, I heard that as of right now, I heard this a couple of days ago. There's an issue with the visa with Sheila, and it's not a money thing. It's an issue with the visa, and she won't be coming, which I think is heartbreaking. For David, he spent Thanksgiving with Anna and Mersul, the beekeepers. They all spent Thanksgiving together, which I thought was really sweet because he wanted to spend it with Sheila, obviously, but he couldn't. So it was nice to see the Anna and Mersul brought David in with them, and they had dinner together, and they're welcoming him into the family, which is really normal for 90 Day cast members. It's like a big family, so I was happy with that. Okay, so Judy said her visa was denied, and he's reapplying, and will take another 2 years. Also, it was fully denied. Wow, this is heartbreaking to hear because of a lot of couples, they really were in love, right? So I was hoping that
real of all of the 90 Day, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is going to be a hard situation. I mean, maybe he might look at it where he can go to her and, spend time there. But I know he's been struggling. He's had the same issue as Niles, making enough money to make it last for him to do something like that. It's a really big struggle. But yeah, Gina, I don't know the reason either why it would be denied, which is odd. It could have been because we've talked about this before. You have to make 50,000 or more. They could simply deny it because he doesn't meet an income requirement.
Yep.
Literally, Sheila did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. It's an income requirement. They'll just automatically deny. So it could be, because I know he was working 2 jobs, one at a grocery store, and I can't remember the other place. And I don't know if he was able to meet that income requirement, which is, it's
Yeah.
not fair. But
So sad because he has like 5 jobs.
I know all of this work that he's doing, and he can't seem to get enough money. It's sad. This country really needs to help and do more.
Yep.
He's really doing a lot, because, for someone who can't, with a disability, who there's some people who can't do anything, he's doing so much.
Literally.
There should be, right? So it's really hard to see someone who works that hard. Okay, so Joey was given the opportunity to tell Magda about Jill. Jill is the friend that we met at the, oh, Judy, you're right, grocery store and a casino. You're right. That 7 years prior, Jill and Joey were an item. They dated, and he hasn't told Magda, and, because she's a close friend. And I think we already talked about this, because I was like, is it necessary to tell her?
Nope.
And you said no. And she gave him like a little, women do this every now and then, where you're like, if there's anything you need to tell me right now, tell me right now. She kind of gave him that window.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need you to be honest. And he didn't tell her.
Yeah.
And usually it's going to bite you. I mean, it's a catch-22. Usually a woman isn't giving you a free pass. She's still going to get mad. She would feel,
knows.
right. She would like it if you were to be honest and come forward at that moment. And when a woman is kind of like the FBI. If the FBI contacts you and asks you a question, they know the answer to the question.
Yeah.
They want to know if you're going to tell the truth, right?
Yep.
That's how it goes. So if you, just like the IRS, if the IRS calls you and they ask you about something that happened a year or two ago, they know the answer. They just want to know if you're going to tell the truth or if they need to garnish your wages, right? They're just doing a little bit of back work. So, and I think she was looking for him to get it out there on the table, and he didn't do it, and he didn't want to tell her, which is fine, because I get that it's not that serious. 7 years prior, y'all dated, and you haven't done anything since. As far as we know, he's kind of been really vague on what he's been doing.
Also, she know if she watches this stupid episode.
Well, right. She'll know, and I don't think that this relationship is going to progress any further than what we're seeing. Do you?
No, but the fact that she lied to him or didn't omit that she moved to Germany for her ex is a whole thing. Like, why is that okay for her?
That is, and that was her very last boyfriend. Which, again, Cara, we've talked about this. I think when you get into a new relationship, I think like your last 5 years of relationships and stuff, you should discuss. Absolutely. I'm not saying that you should go back 20 years and say who you dated in middle school. That's irrelevant. Yep. But the last person you dated, you should say, oh, I dated this person. We were together for this long. We broke up, and this is why we broke up. I think that's knowledge you should share with each other. Just so this doesn't happen later. Because he's like, oh, well, you moved to another country for another man and you stay with him for 1.5 years. I would have liked to have known that. And, as much as I don't care for Joey, he did need to know that.
As much as I care for her, I think she could have said it.
Well, her friend said it very clear today when he met her friends. He was like, it's her dream to live in the U.S. And he was like, are you going to stay with him? And she was like, well, yeah, it's my dream. And I was like, so she's basically saying, I'm here because he's going to take me to the U.S. She never said it's my dream to marry him and then we'll have a life together in the U.S. She just said, it's been my lifelong dream since I was a child to live in the United States. And then he wasn't a part of any of that statement or dream. So it's pretty clear what's going on here. She definitely wants to be in the U.S. Now, whether or not she marries him and has kids with him, that's to be determined, but we know that she'll marry him and get her green card. We just don't know what's going to happen after that. And I think it's pretty clear that she has a plan. He's part of the plan, but only in the part of, legally she's got to be married to somebody, in order for it to go on. I don't think Joey, if it's not Joey, it's Brad or Chad or whoever she would find, to get her there. So
she's not here. He's gonna move on. This is a very short story. Once he comes back, it's over. We'll probably never see these two again.
Well, that's why we met them so late. I think that there's nothing to go on with this, because didn't we see One in the preview, something happened. I don't remember what happened in the preview for next week. Something happened with them, right? Because I saw, well, we did see Brian called out Ingrid for using him, right? For whatever, and she walked off and was screaming. So it kind of looks like they're gonna be done too,
Yep.
which is interesting because, well, it's interesting too because after they broke up, we saw some videos where he was Ubering and he was trying to call her a prostitute and whatever, and then he was like, oh, I think she's using me. She's using me for her kids, or she's using me. And I was like, I don't see that. Like, honestly, I don't see that because every time he showed up, he would bring things like for the kids or whatever and bring things for her. She never asked him for anything.
And
You know, like when
and showed up to meet her kids after she said no. You showed up to meet her mom after she said no. You keep inserting yourself everywhere you're not wanted because you're a pile of shit. So no, she's not using you for anything.
well, what would she use him for? I don't even see that he has a lot of money. He doesn't do anything for her.
He was trying to groom her to be his freaking caregiver in the
Caretaker.
US.
I think his dream is to have a hot young caretaker that he can have sex with.
Yep.
I think that's what he really wants. It's not really a relationship. He just knows that he's getting older and he's going to need somebody fully dedicated to taking care of him. But he's also a creepy old dude
Yep.
who wants a young, pretty girl to sleep with. So he wants, it's two birds, one stone, right? It's basically what he wants. He wants a pretty young girl that he can move into his house and she's going to clean up after him, work with his catheter, bathe them, do everything, but he can also be inappropriate with her, right? Like, I feel like that's what he's really looking for. Because if you try that with a real nurse, you going to jail.
Yep.
Like, you going to jail.
1000%. Yeah, it's just disgusting. Every time I see that guy, my skin just crawls. Like, literally crawls off my body.
So I want to talk about Noah and Vanja. So there was this guy, I'm pretty sure this was production, but there was a guy who walks up to Vanja after she had a FaceTime with her friend, her cousin actually, told her not to leave. She had a 3-week trip, so she still had over 2 weeks left in Split, and told her to get on the dating apps and just have fun. And some guy approaches her who's in an open relationship. I'm pretty sure this was fake. I don't think that this was real.
Yeah.
It was too off the wall for me. But
Yep.
she turned him down, but she did say that she is gonna stay and have fun while she's there. Do you agree? Like, would you stay on the vacation or would you leave? Because she initially wanted to go back home to Florida, but her friend said,
if it was me personally, I'd stay so I could burn Bozo's fucking house down.
Cara, no, I don't know how to bail you out overseas. I don't know how that works.
I'd call ahead of time to wire some money or some shit.
Like, I don't know, because I would have to get a visa just to get there, just to get you. Like, you can't do that. I don't even know how long that would take.
Yeah, I'd have to stay for that.
No. I see. I think that because in my experience, when you book trips and you check in, even if you leave early, they're not going to give you any of your money back. So I think she could stay and enjoy it because they're not going to give her any money back. Because I've had rented Airbnbs and stuff and hotels, and the trip got cut short, and then I left early. They still charge me the full amount. Yeah. There's nothing you can do because they can't, because you took it off the market, for the amount of time that you took it off the market for. They couldn't have rented it out. So they're not going to give her any money back. So I think it's good for her to stay and enjoy it. Oh, Laura says she'll help you. But I don't know how. I don't know how to do it, Laura, because I think to bail someone out, you have to sign papers, so you got to physically be there. And I don't know if my passport works over there. I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm telling you. So, okay, first of all, this scene was so stupid with her in the restaurant. First and foremost, who eats hot chocolate looking like pudding? You just sit there and eat it? That was the thickest hot chocolate I've ever seen in my life. All of this was so staged. I can't. I could not. She's actually chewing her hot chocolate. Like, what's happening there?
Do you think that production was there and they didn't have anything to do? Because after Boja left, he didn't really want to be a part of it anymore, or maybe Vanja didn't want to film anything with him. So do you think that they were like, well, we still need to film you, and we still need more work? So I feel like that scene, because that's all we got with her. It was the FaceTime call with her cousin, and then and I feel like they're just doing filler work because they have to have enough material for the story to materialize into the storyline that they're building. So I feel like this is kind of what they needed to do in order, just like when we got Renee and Chitty, they met at the beach, but then they
Yeah.
needed them to meet again at the hotel. They needed enough footage.
Yeah.
You know, there was technically no reason for Renee and Chitty to meet at the hotel before she left.
No.
That was just, it was just insult to injury. They wanted her to act crazy one more time. So they had
Yeah.
another good scene to end on, you know, and I feel like that's all it really was. And I feel like this is what that was too. They just needed a little bit more footage of her. And they found some dude at the bar and they're like, hey, do you want to make $100? You know,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's kind of how it started out.
So as far as her staying, I think she should stay just because she's rented that cute ass apartment for, the entire time. So that's already paid for. Whether she should go on the apps or not, I don't think so. I think that there's a whole world out there. She could go meet people organically if it's meant to be. She could meet somebody in a cafe. She could meet somebody in a pub. She could meet somebody walking down the beach. Like, she can meet somebody. She's beautiful. Like, she's approachable. She could meet someone. So I don't think her going on the dating apps was the best advice, but I definitely think she should stay and enjoy her vacation.
Well, I think we talked about this when Chantel was on the Single Life. It's vacation D.
Yeah.
You go on you go on the apps while you're on vacation just to meet somebody to hook up with. Obviously, you don't live in that country. You're on a date. You know, if she wanted to have a good time, but I don't think that's what Vanja wants. I think that the whole purpose of this is she wants an actual relationship and to grow something. So I think her going on a dating app and finding random guys and open relationships to hook up with that's not even who she is. That's so far from the character that I've seen of her that I think that, production was just like, well, we need something. So you got to figure it out. You know, you got to talk to this person. And I feel like she's a perfect candidate for the single life, right? I feel like the way that her story ended, she never got love. She never got even a chance at love. She would be a perfect person to follow around and we can watch her date and find the right person.
Right.
I feel like we want that. We were rooting for her, but she never got it. So I would totally watch her on The Single Life.
Yeah, I don't think this is the last we've seen of her.
No.
She's a fan favorite.
Remember, she was at that yacht party.
Yep.
That they did for the 10-year anniversary. And I thought that was interesting because remember we had this conversation, all of the big name people, you know, from the last 10 years, and they brought a bunch of, Joey was there too. They brought a bunch of brand new people to the yacht party to introduce them to all the big corporate executives.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I assume anybody that we saw at that yacht party is people they're going to be pushing, you know, for newer shows or for further career. I think since they're under new management and there's new people, I think that they're starting to push newer people because I think that some of the older people have tarnished their image a little bit.
A little bit.
So I think they're looking for new people to become the face of the brand, and then these newer people are not gonna act the way Renee did and Angela did and Scott did and Big Ed did. They're gonna act differently, and they're gonna be able to be controlled. I think that's the best way to put it.
As much as I hate Lauren, like, makes my skin crawl, hate him, the fact that he's good TV, I mean, I can't say he's good TV, but he's so disgusting, you can't help but watch. It's like a train wreck. You have to look.
I think he makes good TV. I do. I think that a lot of people hate him, but I also think that a lot of people are happy when his scenes pop up because he's disgusted
by him.
Right.
It's like,
right. Like,
are we actually watching this? Is this actually burning into our brain? This gonorrhea, nasty yuck is burning into our brain. Like, but like Josh even said, there has to be one good person in the relationship and one bad person in the relationship. And, Faith is a fan favorite. She's awesome. We all love her. We all feel sorry for her.
We do. Did you see Faith work the pole tonight?
Yeah, that was impressive.
It did not look like her first time on a pole, correct? Yeah, I think that Faith has a different side to her.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised at how good she was at the pole dancing. And, I don't get me wrong. I think that she's still a really good person.
Yeah.
And she deserves everything. But I think that, I think she can get down and dirty too. Sure. Good for her. I was happy to see that. I was like, look at her, coming out of her shell. And I think she should do more of that, but just for other people.
Yeah.
Like Lauren is not the right person for her. and hopefully she's not discouraged after this is over, because once you get lied to, cheated on, hurt, made to feel a certain way, it leaves a bad taste. Some women will break up with a guy and say they're done with guys altogether.
Yeah.
I hope she doesn't feel that way, because that's kind of like what happened with Chantel.
Right.
Remember Chantel? She was with Pedro, and then she went on the single life, and now she's dating a girl.
Yeah.
And there's some men really hurt women to the point where they're just done. They're done.
Yeah.
They don't want to deal with that masculinity, that toxicity anymore. And then I hope that's not the route that Faith goes, that she's just done with men altogether. You can find a good person. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. You got to be very, very patient, and you got to weed out. Hey, Josh from the other way here.
Yeah.
So Josh was on his live last week, and we learned that he is back in the U.S. He's living with his parents again, getting things back in order. And him and Lily are filing for divorcing, because I know you were working that day. So
I know.
I was hoping.
And nobody screen recorded it to me, but Pineapple tagged me. Thank you.
Okay, good. I knew that you were going to need the updates. And Alexa Pomegranate and a few other people did some cliff notes, bullet points of the live. So, yeah, that was the main takeaway from that. So we're wishing the best for Josh in his new relationship endeavors, because he's newly single and back in the US. So ladies, if that interests you, you can reach him at Josh 90DayTOW on his Instagram if you want to reach out. But yeah, next week we're going to, there was somebody who wasn't on this week. Who was that? It was Brian and Ingrid and who else?
Vea and Sunny.
Vea and Sunny, right. So we're going to catch up with them as well. I still don't know how deep into it we are. I heard that we have at least six more episodes is what someone was trying to tell me. So we're pretty deep in.
This is only episode 14. Does it not feel like it's episode 197?
Yeah, I feel like we should be towards the finale now.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like we are.
Fake quick.
We've lost Chitty and Renee. They're gone. There's no more episodes whatsoever. They're not coming back. So yeah, and I think we're getting close to the end of Vanja and Boja's story. I don't think after next week we'll probably see them anymore. So yeah, we're weeding out.
With a new guy, so maybe we're gonna get more of her.
True. Oh, Josh said he believes it ends in January. So yeah, we have at least 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah, we got a lot to go, and I don't know where we're going. Hopefully there's
all I can say is I'm kind of actually excited for the tell-all on this one.
Yeah, me too. This tell-all will be fun because we got verification that Adnan is in Texas. So I don't know if you saw the post, but he was at a gun range, and if you zoomed in really, really quick, I think Shabuti got it in the photo, its story. You could see it had the Texas map, and it said the great state of Texas on it. So Adnan is here.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that means he's going to be physically at the tell-all, so that will be fun to watch. You're right. This tell-all will be a little bit more action-packed than the other way tell-all. There wasn't a lot of action.
Yeah.
But that's because they took the best people and told them they couldn't come.
Yeah.
So we didn't get any action. I mean, it was tame, but it was entertaining. But I want more action.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, and tomorrow is the premiere of The Last Resort season 2. Then afterward, they're doing a brand new show. It's called Between the Sheets. And the cast members from The Last Resort will be pillow talking The Last Resort. So directly after the show, in place of pillow talk, it will be the actual cast members of The Last Resort reacting to their scenes. So how do you feel about that? Because this is kind of a new concept.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It wouldn't be bad, but it's like we're already disgusted with 98% of the cast that's going to be on Last Resort, and then we have to watch a show about them talking about it.
Yeah, talking about themselves.
Yeah,
as if they're not full of themselves.
That's what they did with Mama's Boy and the sister one.
Yeah, they called it. Yeah, you're right. They did the season and they all sat down and watched. Basically, it's the same thing. They're just bringing it into the 90-day space. Because last year after The Last Resort, they did a podcast, but no one listened to that podcast. Yeah. So they were like, well, we need a way to get people to engage. So instead of doing a pillow talk, which they did last season, they're going to do. It's called Between the Sheets, and the cast members will react to it. And I don't know how I feel. Oh, and also this weekend, Angela's birthday party took place in Canada.
Nice.
And
For Canada,
Scott,
all of you in Canada, Gina.
Scott was the special guest, along with Biniam was the special guest. I hear tickets were $30. I was unable to make it. It was in Canada. So if anybody has any photos, I've already seen a couple of pictures from the event. So if anybody wants to share any photos or anything, if you were there, let me know.
Not necessary to share them with me because I don't give two shits.
Well, Scott said that he was working out a lot so he could jump out of a cake naked at her party.
He's so gross.
I don't believe that's legal, right? Because I'm pretty sure the club they were at is not licensed for strip club. So I'm pretty sure that didn't happen, hopefully. Oh, wait. Gina said it was a 4 to 5 hour plane ride even from her, and she's already in Canada. Oh, so that was far. Oh, wait. Is Pineapple said, don't watch the Bravo after shows. I'm definitely not watching this crap. Oh, so it's a no from Pineapple. Reluctantly, I'm going to watch The Last Resort since George and JLP said they were going to watch. Well, I have to. I have to watch it. I can't just not watch. I'm so deep and invested into the 90-day shows. There's only one show, I think, ever in the 90-day universe that I didn't watch, and it was Lauren and Alexi After the 90 Days. I watched one episode. I watched the first season in its entirety. And then the second season, I watched one episode, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not Mother Teresa. I don't have to do this. And I didn't watch it. I've watched every other show, period, ever on the whole 90-day franchise. So I can't just not watch a show. I made one exception. It was the Lauren and Alexa. I couldn't get through it. I really tried.
I watched that. The only thing I never watched on 90 Day or on TLC was Sister Wives until there started to be problems. Once there was problems, I decided to watch it. Bring me the drama.
You did the opposite of me.
Oh,
I watched it the first few seasons and then I stopped. So
I had no interest. I tried to watch season 1. It was so stupid. I was like, I will never get through this. So I quit watching it. And then here we are, 912 seasons later. They had problems. So I started watching last season to watch the marriages fall apart. And now I'm watching the ex-wives live happily ever after. And I think it's great. I should
have took your approach. I watched it when they were happy, so it was boring. And then I stopped watching it like probably 3 seasons in. Nope. And then like 4 seasons later, they all wanted to kill each other. That's when it got good. And then I wasn't watching, so I stopped. So yeah, you got the good stuff.
Yep.
I got the boring stuff.
Soon as there was drama, I was like, yep, I gotta watch it. I love drama. Well, it's not mine.
Exactly. I'm 100% a drama obsessed person when I'm just eavesdropping and it's happening across the way from me.
Absolutely.
I'm all in, right?
Absolutely.
There's the meme, it's a giraffe and then it's using its neck to go all the way over the gate to look. That's me. I'm all the way in my yard, but I'm all the way over there trying to see what's going on over there. That's me because it's not my drama. I just want to see what they're fighting about.
Yeah, me
too. Wait, Pineapple says they were never happy. See, I thought they were happy in the beginning. So, see, I didn't even get the show because I thought they were happy
until Robin and her eyebrows appeared.
Oh, so when they brought in the new wife, that makes sense. Oh, so it was a comedy club called Jokers. Oh, so Angela wasn't even at a nightclub; she was at a comedy club. So who did?
Was the mascot?
Wait, she was the mascot?
Yeah, if it's a comedy club called Jokers.
It's a comedy club called Jokers.
So she's the fucking Joker.
Happy birthday to Angela, guys. Her birthday, I think, is today. So,
yes.
And if you all made it to the party, send me pictures and tell me how it was. And if you got a selfie with Angela, send it to me so I can repost it. So, yeah. And tell me any drama that happened, too. Because, Benny is about to pop up again on The Last Resort. And he was kissing some girl on TikTok Live a few months back. So there's that. So if there was any drama, let me know about that too.
I like Benny, but I wouldn't suffer through Angela and Scott to see him.
It was only $30. If it was local,
if it was pay me $3,000 to see him.
But so if it was local, you still wouldn't have went.
If it was local and free, and I got all the shit I wanted there, I still wouldn't go.
Yuck. Really? See, I would if they were here, I would have went. Yuck. Not even gonna lie.
I would have
I
went.
would've waited.
I would have went and seen Benny outside, but
Well, yeah, you could have waited outside until Benny left, and then you can
yeah,
get a picture with Benny then.
I have zero urge to ever see Scott or Angela in real life. Zero urge.
I respect that. I mean, I respect that. There's a lot of people who feel the same way about you, actually. So the idea of paying to see them is probably way out of your realm of understanding and want. So I totally respect that. Well, Gina said she would need a lot of booze to even stomach it. So
If I had booze, it wouldn't turn pretty. I would end up in
okay,
jail.
so we're gonna wrap for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow though because we're gonna be watching The Last Resort. Oh, Mama's Boy is over, so I think it's just Last Resort right now,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So we're just gonna be talking about Last Resort. So we'll do an after show tomorrow, and then I am gonna watch the Between the Sheets. Probably not live because we'll be live, but I am gonna watch it and tell y'all. I'll report back to the group and I'll let you guys know, like if you should be watching it or not.
Yeah.
And if not, I'll tell y'all what happens. You don't have to invest too much in that because I heard The Last Resort. Oh, I don't know if I told you this. It's 2 hours. Remember last year it was an hour?
Yeah.
I heard it's 2 hours now and then a whole hour after show. So that's a lot of commitment in one night.
It is,
right?
a lot.
For people that
For
you
the
kind of
same
sick
people
of.
that we've seen for 100 years.
Yeah, so I understand how a lot of people are not willing to commit that much to one show for people that we kind of don't want to see that much anymore. So that's why I said I'll take one for the team. I'll watch the Between the Sheets after show, and if it's good, I'll tell y'all. And if it's not, I'll tell you what happened. So I'll save you the 60 minutes of your life.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I'm gonna watch it.
Gonna,
Unfortunately, I'll watch it.
well, yeah, I have no other hobbies. I'll do it, but
I mean, I'll do it.
I'll watch. All right, guys. Make sure you're following Cara. She's tagged in this video. And hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving. It was Thanksgiving week this weekend. So happy Thanksgiving. If you're from other countries, happy Thursday. It was Thursday. You don't celebrate it there. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at George Mossey, georgemossey.com. Anywhere you get your podcast, type in The George Mossey Show, and on all streaming platforms, music, and podcasts, it's The George Mossey Show. Thanks for joining us. And what time does Disney close? 11. Thank you for joining us, and we will be back tomorrow. Everyone have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.